You really want to play Riftbound and you can't wait on the first day of the release and go beat everyone's ass in the seal game. I'm your great friend Bucky Boy, and here I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to Riftbound Sealed. Then you might ask, Buck, how do you play seal game? The game is not even out yet, how do you know? Lucky enough, I just traveled back from China, so I have actually played a seal game back in China. And now we're gonna break down how to play a seal game first. At this point, I assume you know how to play Riftbound. If you don't, go find a tutorial, save this video and come back after you watch the tutorial. The main gameplay is pretty much the same. The main difference in Sealed is deck building. You are going to open 6 booster packs and you're going to make a deck out of it. You're going to build a deck with only 25 cards instead of 40 cards like a regular game, using the cards you open from the booster packs. And the deck can consist up to 3 different types of color, any type of 3. For example, like a blue, green, red, or a purple, yellow, green will work. The organizer should provide you enough ruin, then you can pick any number of ruin to make up whatever combination you need for your deck. To make a ruin deck that is exactly 12 ruin, of course. Then you might ask, Buck, what about our champion legend cards? As you might know, legend cards have to be opened from booster pack, so if you're unlucky enough, then you might not have any legend to build your deck with. But if you do pull out a legend card from booster pack and you decide to use the legend card for your deck, the 2 of 3 color of your deck has to match your legend's colors. For example, if you decide to use Victor Legends cards, then you have to use blue and yellow, and then you can use any one of the other color. In addition, before you start your game, you can put any champion unit onto your champion unit zone. And the champion unit does not have to be match your legends card. For example, if you're playing Victor Legend card, then you can play a Draven next to it. If you start your game without a legend card or a champion unit card in your champion unit zone and legend zone, then you get to draw 1 extra card at the beginning of your first turn. But if you don't have both, you will still only draw 1 extra card. So don't worry too much if you didn't pull a legend card or decide to not put a champion unit onto champion zone. You can get a free card draw to make up for it. So let's talk about how do we win a seal game. A seal game is all about effective trading and card value and card advantage. The simple answer is, if you just stuff your deck with all good card and effective card, then you will most likely win. So without further ado, let's first talk about some of the legend cards you want to keep an eye on. First one is our mighty Victor. Victor's ability is you can pay 1 energy and tap, you can generate a strength 1 recruit. Having ability to generate a strength 1 recruit every single turn is way too much for a seal game. The strength 1 recruit will grant you tempo and value. You have a guaranteed turn 1 tempo and also a mana sink. Your opponent might need to spend their cards and value to deal with your recruit, and you don't basically lose anything in return. Victor generates way too much value that if you ever see it in your pack, you should just go in blue and yellow combination and add on something else. 100% S tier pick. Next legend is Lee Sin. Lee Sin's ability is you pay 1 energy and tap and give one of your ally a buff. A buff can give a unit +1 on strength, even though it doesn't stack. However, this ability will still make all your unit 1 size larger, which is very decent. Similar to Victor, this ability can be a mana sink. Lee Sin's ability makes sure you have so much advantage in early game unit trading. An ability that can be constantly triggered and generate you value is perfect in seal game. I would definitely just go into orange and green if I just see Lee Sin in my booster pack. Definitely a solid S tier pick. Next, I will mention Ari. Ari's ability is when an enemy unit attack a battlefield you control, give it -1 this turn to a minimum of 1. And super solid passive ability that will get triggered every time you defend. Ari is a legend card that just gives you value throughout the entire game without you paying anything or doing anything extra, which is perfect for a seal game. Another super solid S tier pick would go into blue and green for just this legend card. And I will briefly mention Kaisa here. Kaisa is great overall, it gives you 1 extra Ruin for paying spell card. If you got a lot of cards that require ruins, go ahead and use Kaisa. Otherwise, don't. But overall, it's a A tier pick. Pretty solid. And you might ask again, oh Bug, why didn't you mention about Master E? It's because Master E is in Proving Ground set, which is an individual set, and all of the Proving Ground cards are not in first Origin booster pack. So you would never pull out a Master E from booster pack. Alrighty, I'm going to go through every single color and I'll give you a brief description of what each color can do and pick out top 3 or 4 best cards for sale for each color. First, let's talk about Odor, the yellow color. Yellow card has direct removal and a lot of their unit can swarm the board very fast. The first yellow card I'm going to talk about is Hidden Blade. Hidden Blade can be hidden and then it is an action card, so you can play that in opponent's turn. So what it does is it kills the unit at the battlefield and it controls draws 2. The most efficient single removal in the game right now. And it's also great to just pay 1 ruin and then put down as a hidden card on the battlefield. Extremely cost efficient. In the worst case, you can kill one of your own units to just draw 2 cards. I will definitely put in multiple copies of this if I'm planning on going into yellow. Next yellow card I want to talk about is Leona. Leona has shield 1, and when I attack, stun an enemy unit here, and it's 4 mana, 1 yellow, and for 4 strength. And very underrated card. Leona can take on a lot of very tough battle by itself, and also you can send a lot of unit with Leona, because Leona will stun the opponent's unit, and you wouldn't deal any damage back. Stun can negate a lot of buff too. Leona is overall a very good fighter. Oh, you should bring it if you're going in yellow. Next card is Grand Strategy. It's an extremely powerful card that provides a lot of value by itself. It's pretty much a game ender card. It's one of your win con. Grand Strategy is a 6 energy, 3 yellow spell card that has action tag and gives +5 on every unit you have. You can play at the last round and to end the game, or play outside of your turn to cut your opponent off guard with +5 on every single unit you have. Even though it has a very high mana cost, but it's still worth playing, because once you play it out, you are most likely in the game right on the spot, and the 3 ruin that you recycle won't be a big of deal. But don't put more than 2 copies of this into your deck. Next, I'm going to talk about Purple, the Chaos Ruin. Purple has a lot of spells that would bounce your creature back to your hand or back to your base, and also have spells that make your own unit move around. It's a very disruptive color. The first purple card I want to talk about is Fight or Flight. Fight or Flight is a 2 energy spell that can be hidden, and it has action tag. It moves a unit from a battlefield to its base. And very cost efficient card that can disrupt your opponent's tempo and save your own unit. Fight or Flight has the lowest rarity, so you will run into a lot of it if you're playing purple or playing against purple. The second purple card I want to talk about is Ride the Wind. Ride the Wind is a 2 energy 1 purple card that has action tag, move a friendly unit, and ready it. It's great to ready your unit on the turn it enter your base, or this card can also potentially score your point outside of your turn. If your opponent is not being cautious and sent a weaker unit into an empty battlefield, and you can just cast Ride the Wind in response and send one of your stronger units onto that battlefield, then if you beat out your opponent's unit, then you will score a point outside of your turn, which is very scary. Overall, purple is pretty lackluster in Seal. It shines more in regular construct game. Next, I'm going to talk about Orange, the Body Ruin. Orange has ramp and also have a lot of very big solid creature. The first card I want to talk about is Arena Bar. It's a 3 cost you can tap to buff exhausted friendly unit. This card is very good. This card basically will just give all your unit a buff after a couple turns. The condition is not hard to man. All the creature you cast is coming exhausted, and whenever you move your creature from or to a battlefield, and then it's exhausted too, and you can just use Arena Bar right after. Next is Carnivorous Snapwine. It's 5 energy, 2 orange. When you play me, choose an enemy unit at the battlefield, we deal damage equal to our might to each other. It is a very effective removal, while you can put a big body down for only 5 mana. It's very efficient. It can easily take on anything that's 5 strength and below. The only downside to it is it has to recycle 2 ruin. If you play multiple of this in your deck, then you might not reach your higher drop card. The last card for orange is Daboon Predator. It's an 8 cost, recycle 2 ruin, 8 might. It has deflect, and you can also play Daboon Predator onto an occupied enemy battlefield. The A Mighty has is very tricky for a lot of deck to handle. If they don't have a single removal, that can be a pain in the ass for a lot of deck. An extremely strong card that can help you take back control of the tempo and the battlefield and help you score point while removing your enemy's unit on the battlefield. Very, very good. If you ever join into this one, put it in this in your deck with no doubt. Next, I'm going to talk about blue, the Mind Ruin. Blue has a lot of debuff and a very big spell. The first card I'm going to talk about is Riptide Rex. 6 energy, 2 blue, 6 might. When you play me, deal 6 damage to an enemy unit on the battlefield. The shark is very strong for the same reason as Snapwine, but just with only 1 extra energy cost. However, this shark has the lowest rarity, so which means this will be very accessible for all the blue player. In other words, you will run into this in your opponent's deck. Next is Smoke Screen. Smoke Screen is 2 energy, 1 blue, reaction card that give a unit -4 might this turn to a minimum of 1. Nothing very fancy, the most effective debuff card in the game. I think if you just replace all your spells with Smoke Screen, you will win the game with no problem. Next one is Sprite Mother, 4 energy, 1 blue, 3 might. When you play me, play a ready 3 sprite unit token with temporary. Very efficient card, 4 energy for total 6 might, and it has 3 might for a haze unit, which is very great. It gives you tempo, it gives you a lot of body. The 3 might sprite token can be actually hard to deal with for your opponent, because your opponent don't want to touch it, you might waste their resources, but it's 3 might. Blue has a lot of good cards. We're gonna talk 1 extra card. The next card is Thousand Tail Watcher. It's 7 energy, 1 blue, 7 might, accelerate, and when you play me, give unit -3 this turn to a minimum of 1. Thousand Tail Watcher can be the best card in the game, period. It can come from your hand at a ruin tempo with accelerate ability and giving -3 to all your enemies unit, and at least taking down 1 battlefield by yourself and helping your other unit taking down the other battlefield. It's one of the best game measure. It's probably one of the best cards in the game. Next, we're going to talk about green, the Calm Ruin. Green has counter spell and a lot of buff spell. The first card we're going to take a look at is Defy. 1 costs 1 green, and reaction card that counter a spell that costs not more than 4 energy and no more than 1 ruin. A very cost efficient card that can handle 80% of important spell in the game. In this game, combat trick is very important, and having a counter spell in your hand ensures a lot of battle to go to the way that you want it, which is very nice. The next card is Charm. 1 cost, 1 green, move an enemy unit. This card is very efficient in a lot of ways. First, it's very low cost. You can move an enemy unit that's sitting in the base or in the other battlefield to move onto a battlefield, have a big creature and then take them out. Or at the end of the game, you can push an enemy unit off from a battlefield to score point. Next is Green Listen. It's 5 energy, 1 green, 5 might. It has shield 1 and it can tap Listen to buff itself, and this Listen can have any number of buffs on itself. For this Listen, you want to put it in your champion unit zone so you can put it out as soon as you can. So once this Listen's out, you can tap him every single turn once he go beyond 7 and over. then most of your opponent cannot deal with a listen that's this big. Lastly, we're gonna talk about Red Ruin, which is the Fury Ruin. Red color has a lot of low cost spell card that deal damage, and also it has a lot of accelerating unit which can come off from your hand and attack right away. The first card is Falling Star, 2 energy, 2 red, do this twice, deal 3 damage to a unit. A very efficient card that can easily make a 1-for-2 trade, and it can also target unit that's in the back, in the base, and also in the later game it can deal with a creature that's up to 6 might too. A very efficient card overall. Next one is Draven, 5 energy, 1 red, a 3 might. My might is increased by your points. For example, if we have 4 points and Draven is 3 plus 4, then that's like 7 might. Draven is very strong for the same reason as Green Listen. It can grow out of hand very fast. And once Draven hit 6 or 7, it's very hard to deal with. Once it hit 8, it's pretty much impossible, and your opponent might need to face a Draven that is 9 or 10 might at the end of the game. Next card is Draven's brother Darius, 5 energy, 1 red, 5 might. When you play a second card in a turn, give me +2 and ready me. Darius' ability is very easy to trigger. According to the text, if you play Darius as a second card, the ability will still trigger. Not only Darius can just come off from your hand, if Darius is already on the battlefield, then you can retreat Darius and play a card, and Darius will just reactive again and then go into another battlefield, which is very strong and very efficient. Last but not least, I'm going to mention signature spells real quick. The rule for signature spells is if you have both of the matching color of the signature spell, then you can run in your deck, and you don't have to have the matching legend card. For example, if you want to run Super Mega Death Rocket from Jinx, you just have to have purple and red in your deck, then you're able to run that card. Most of the signature spells are pretty mediocre. Only 2 that are worth mentioning are Arcassian Rain and Zethus Blade. Arcassian Rain works as a very efficient board wipe, and Zethus Blade has the potential for you to score point outside of your turn just like Rider Wing does. At the end, if you're wondering what's the rule for Battlefield, you should double check with your local game store or wherever you're going your event for, because the rule for Battlefield is not very clear and it's quite situational, and I won't go over too much about it here. And thank you to make it this far. This is my first time making this video. I love Riftbound. I wanted to play more Riftbound with everyone, and please let me know what else you guys want to watch. Please comment below. If you can subscribe me, that would be great, because I have 0 subscribers at this point. And thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bucky Boys finding out.